My finger hovered over the phone screen, that photo stabbing painfully at my eyes. Ethan Cole, my fiancé, was affectionately holding a junior female student. His face lit up with a radiant smile. The background was the tree-lined path of their alma mater. I took a deep breath, swallowed the lump in my throat, and dialed his number. Just saw your post. Having fun with friends? I kept my voice as calm as possible, even a little flattering. He hummed in response, his tone flat. After hanging up, the pain in my heart only deepened. My finger hovered over the phone screen, that photo stabbing painfully at my eyes. Ethan Cole, my fiancé, was affectionately holding a junior female student. His face lit up with a radiant smile. The background was the tree-lined path of their alma mater, sunlight filtering through the leaves and falling on them like a carefully composed painting. That junior, Scarlett Reed, I know her. I took a deep breath, swallowed the lump in my throat, and dialed his number. It rang a few times before he answered, with some background noise. Just saw your post. Are you having fun with your friends? I tried to keep my voice calm, even a little cautiously flattering. Yeah, just hanging out with a few friends. Ethan's voice was emotionless as usual, indifferent as always. Scarlett has returned to the country too? I asked, pretending not to care. There was a pause on the other end. Yes, just got back. Well, have fun and get some rest early. I quickly ended the conversation, not daring to ask another question. After hanging up, the thorn in my heart dug deeper and deeper, the pain making it almost hard to breathe. Scarlett Reed, that name is like a curse, standing between Ethan Cole and me. She was the star of Ethan's university days, the white moonlight he openly admitted to holding dear in his heart. They were once so close, but after Scarlett went abroad for further studies, that vague affection quietly came to an end, and I only appeared by Ethan's side after Scarlett had left the country. We met at a business cocktail party. Ethan is the hot air of Cole Industries, handsome and wealthy, the object of desire for countless socialites. I admit, at first, approaching him was influenced by considerations of a family alliance, but as we spent time together, I truly fell for him. Ethan treated me very well, at least on the surface, impeccably. He gave expensive gifts, arranged romantic dates, and gave me enough dignity in front of others. Until we got engaged, I thought I had finally seen the light after the storm, but Scarlett came back. Everything started to go wrong. Ethan came home later and later, and the scent of his cologne was no longer the one I was familiar with. The look in his eyes gradually lost its warmth. I comforted myself. Maybe I was overthinking it. He was just busy with work. A few days later, a delicate gift bag was placed on my desk, and signed. Inside was the custom ring I had once given to Ethan Cole, with our initials engraved on the inner band. There was also a note, written in elegant yet provocative handwriting, returning the ring to you. He will soon be mine as well. S. Scarlett Reed. I held the cold ring, my fingertips trembling slightly, so his recent aloofness wasn't just my imagination. Anger and humiliation surged like a tide, and I almost wanted to rush to confront Ethan immediately, but in the end, reason prevailed. I put away the ring and the note, forcing myself to stay calm. Perhaps there was still a chance to make things right. After all, our wedding was just next week. He couldn't possibly call off the wedding at this time and embarrass both families. I told myself this, like grasping at the last lifeline. On the night before the wedding, Ethan held a bachelor party. I didn't go. I stayed home alone, preparing the final details for the wedding. Late at night, my phone suddenly vibrated. It was an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, and on the other end came deafening music and men's cheers. Ethan, rehearse with our future bride. Give her a kiss. Give her a kiss. Then, I heard Ethan's slightly drunken voice, stop it. Then came a coquettish female voice, Scarlett, Ethan, they want you to kiss me. The jeering grew louder. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end of the phone, followed by louder cheers and whistles. I don't need to see the scene to imagine what happened. My world instantly fell silent, leaving only a ringing in my ears. The phone clenched in my hand pressed painfully into my palm, and my stomach churned violently. My heart felt as if it were being tightly gripped by an invisible hand, aching so much I could barely breathe. I don't know how I ended the call. At that moment, all self-comfort and wishful thinking shattered into dust. I rushed out of the house and drove to the bar where the party was held. The moment I pushed open the private room door, the noise abruptly stopped. Everyone's eyes focused on me, surprise, awkwardness, and the schadenfreude of those enjoying the spectacle. Ethan was sitting in the center of the sofa, Scarlett snuggled tightly in his arms, one hand resting on his shoulder. Seeing me, Scarlett immediately stood up like a startled fawn, her face showing just the right amount of panic. "Sister Ava, why are you here? We were just playing a game," she said, sneaking a glance at Ethan, a hint of triumph hidden in her eyes. Ethan frowned at me, his gaze cold, without a trace of guilt, instead showing annoyance at being disturbed. "What are you here for?" His tone was full of accusation. "Checking up on me?" My heart completely sank. The whispers of the people around me pricked at me like needles. "The official fiancé has arrived. Now this will be interesting to watch." "Ethan, seriously, the wedding is tomorrow and you're still playing around like this." The humiliation instantly overwhelmed my reason. I walked over step by step, forcing myself to put on a smile. "Yeah, I'm here to pick up my fiancé," I said, scanning the room before finally resting my gaze on a refined and handsome stranger. I walked straight over and grabbed his arm. "Sir, may I have this dance?" The man was momentarily stunned, then gave a polite smile. "My honor." I pulled him toward the dance floor, deliberately passing in front of Ethan and Scarlett. As expected, Ethan's expression darkened, his eyes seeming ready to shoot fire. The music played, and I threw myself into the dance, trying to use this way to provoke Ethan, to make him aware of my existence, my anger. But the next moment, Ethan suddenly stood up, strode over, and pulled me out of that man's arms. "Ava Miller, have you had enough of causing trouble?" he growled, his grip so strong it hurt my wrist. I looked at his angry face, but my heart was ice cold. He wasn't jealous, he just felt that I had embarrassed him. The gazes around us became even more piercing. All my resistance and struggles were seen by him as nothing but unreasonable fuss. In the end, I still chose to give in. I shook off his hand and turned away awkwardly. "I'm tired, I'm going back first." Stepping out of the bar, the cold wind hit my face, and only then did I realize my cheeks were wet. I leaned against the car and cried silently for a long time. Maybe, getting married would make everything better. After the wedding, everything will return to normal. He will settle down, and we will live like all normal couples. This is the only way I can comfort myself. Over and over again. On the wedding day, the church was solemn and dignified. I wore a pure white wedding dress, holding my father's arm, walking step by step towards Ethan at the end of the red carpet. He wore a sharp suit, so handsome that I couldn't take my eyes off him, but his gaze was unusually calm, even carrying a hint of resoluteness that I couldn't understand. The priest began to read the vows. "Mr. Ethan Cole, do you take Ms. Ava Miller to be your wife, to have and to hold, regardless of?" "I do not." Ethan's voice rang out clearly, interrupting the priest. The entire church fell completely silent in an instant. Everyone stared at him in shock. I froze in place, as if my blood had instantly turned to ice. Ethan turned around to face me, his eyes devoid of any warmth. "Ava, I'm sorry," he said, "the one I love is not you." He lifted my hand and without hesitation took off the diamond ring that symbolized our engagement. Then, he turned around, his gaze cutting through the crowd, landing on Scarlett Reed in the audience. Scarlett was dressed in a proper white dress, a victorious smile on her face. Ethan held the ring that should have belonged to me and walked step by step towards her. He knelt on one knee in front of everyone. "Scarlett, marry me." My world completely collapsed. All the persistence, all the endurance, all the self-deception, became a joke at this moment. I felt like a clown stripped naked, exposed bare to everyone's sympathy, pity, and ridicule. Tears flowed uncontrollably, blurring my vision. I heard gasps and whispers from the guests, saw my father's ashen face and my mother's worried eyes, but I could do nothing, only stand there, letting humiliation and despair overwhelm me. The paid section can be set here. Readers will be very curious about the heroine's fate and whether she will fight back. In the chaos, someone gently supported my staggering body. I turned my head in confusion and saw a familiar face. It was the man I had pulled to dance with at the party last night. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, handing me a tissue. I shook my head, unable to speak. "My name is Noah Vance," he introduced himself. "If you need help, or just want someone to talk to, you can always come to me." He handed me a business card, then stepped back with a gentlemanly air. The wedding turned into a farce and ended in discord. I took off my wedding dress, changed into casual clothes, and left that sorrowful place alone. My father and mother wanted to take me home, but I refused. I need some time alone to calm down. I stayed at the hotel for a few days, during which Noah Vance contacted me once, just a simple greeting without much disturbance. A week later, I began handling the follow-up matters, mainly terminating some business collaborations with Cole Industries. During this process, Noah Vance gave me quite a bit of help. He is the president of Vance Corp., a rising business tycoon not to be underestimated. Gradually, through coming and going, we became familiar with each other. Noah is a very considerate person. He never brings up Ethan or that failed wedding, only quietly offering support when I need it. He would take me to eat delicious food, accompany me to dull art exhibitions, and listen to my incoherent complaints. Once, I got drunk and couldn't help but ask him, "Do you think I'm ridiculous?" Noah shook his head, his eyes serious. "I think you are very brave." He told me that he had actually seen me at a business forum a few years ago, and I had left a deep impression on him back then. He even said that he had quietly liked me for a while. I was a bit surprised, but more than that, I was touched. After experiencing Ethan's betrayal, Noah's appearance was like a light, illuminating my gloomy world. 2 months later, Ethan Cole and Scarlett Reed's high-profile engagement announcement spread throughout the city. In the news photos, they smiled brightly, nestled together, wearing matching engagement rings on their hands. The moment I saw the news, my heart still ached, but it was no longer as unbearable as before. That night, Noah asked me to go to the mountaintop in the countryside. The night sky was beautiful, with shooting stars streaking across. Noah suddenly took out a ring and knelt down on one knee. "Ava, I know this might not be the best time, but I don't want to wait any longer." He looked at me with sincere eyes. "I know you've been hurt before, but I promise, I will spend the rest of my life healing you. Give me a chance to take care of you, okay?" A shooting star streaked across the night sky once again. I looked into the expectation and tenderness in his eyes, hesitated for a moment, and finally nodded. Perhaps, it was time to start a new life. The day after I accepted the proposal, I received a call from Ethan. His voice sounded somewhat tired and irritated. "Ava, are you really going to marry Noah Vance?" "It's none of your business," I said coldly. "You'll regret this," he said, then hung up the phone. I scoffed and didn't take it to heart. Noah and I held a very low-key wedding, inviting only a few close friends and family. After the wedding, I truly became Mrs. Vance. Noah was indeed very good to me, attentive and caring, looking after me in every possible way. He would remember my preferences, accommodate my little tantrums, and give me enough sense of security. Our life seemed sweet and peaceful, and I gradually got used to this stability. I even began to feel that perhaps happiness had truly come again. Not long after, I found out I was pregnant. This news caught me off guard, but it was also filled with anticipation. Noah was even more excited than I was. He cared for me so delicately, almost treating me like a fragile porcelain doll. He hired the best nutritionist, who prepared various supplements for me every day, including a compound vitamin said to be imported, and reminded me to take it on time daily. Life seemed to be moving in an increasingly positive direction, until that day, I accidentally overheard a conversation between Noah and his assistant. That day, Noah left work early to go home, and I happened to be napping upstairs. Half asleep, I heard muffled voices coming from the study downstairs. "Mr. Vance," Miss Scarlett called again. She said she really likes the limited edition bag you gave her last time and asked if you could accompany her to Paris for her birthday next month. It was the assistant's voice. I instantly snapped awake. "Scarlett? How could Noah have any contact with her?" "Got it. Just handle it for now and tell them I'll decide later." Noah's voice sounded a bit impatient. "Also, the money you asked me to regularly transfer to Miss Scarlett's account this month." As usual, Noah interrupted him. "Don't let her bother me." My heart sank little by little. Noah has been supporting Scarlett, even giving her expensive gifts? He might even accompany her to Paris on her birthday? What is this supposed to mean? I quietly got up and walked to the study door, which was ajar. "Mr. Vance, there's one more thing." The assistant's voice grew more hesitant. "The vitamins that Madam has been taking are almost finished. We need to keep buying them. Same dosage." Noah's voice was resolute. "She absolutely cannot get pregnant right now." Boom. It felt like something exploded inside my brain. Vitamins? Dosage? I can't get pregnant right now, can I? That's not vitamins at all. It's birth control pills. Noah has been giving me birth control pills all along. My whole body felt cold, and I could barely stand. Was all his kindness and care for me fake? He married me just for what? I remembered Ethan's warning call, "You will regret it." Could it be that Ethan knows something? I stumbled back to the bedroom, closed the door, and collapsed onto the floor. Tears silently slid down. Why? Why treat me like this? I remembered that there was a time when work was busy and stressful, and I stopped taking that so-called vitamin for a few days. It turns out, my pregnancy was completely accidental. Is it that even heaven feels sorry for me and wants to expose this lie? When Noah came back at night, he was still as gentle and considerate as ever, asking with concern if I was feeling unwell. Looking at his hypocritical smile, I just felt a wave of disgust. I forced myself to hold back my emotions, pretending everything was normal. "Darling, our anniversary is coming up in a few days. What gift do you want?" he asked, holding me close. "Just being with me is enough," I said, leaning into his embrace, though my heart felt icy cold. On the day of the anniversary, Noah indeed received a phone call. He went to the balcony to answer, his voice very low, but I still caught a few key words. "Scarlett, don't make a fuss, I'll be there right away." He hung up the phone, came back, and said there was an urgent matter at the company that he needed to handle, but he would come back early in the evening to keep me company. I looked at him and didn't expose him. After he left, I scheduled an abortion. This child came at the wrong time and should not have been born into this family full of lies. The procedure was scheduled for the next day. Lying on the cold operating table, my heart felt hollowed out. The pain in my body is not even a fraction of the torment in my heart. I ended this unexpected little life with my own hands, and with it, I completely shattered the last shred of my illusions about Noah Vance. Exhausted in both body and mind as I walked out of the operating room, I unexpectedly ran into Ethan and Scarlett in the hospital corridor. Scarlett linked her arm with Ethan's, her lower belly slightly rounded, her face glowing with happiness. "They are at a prenatal checkup? How ironic." Ethan saw me and froze, his eyes filled with complex emotions. Scarlett immediately showed vigilance and hostility, instinctively holding Ethan's arm tighter. "Ava, what are you doing here?" Ethan took a step forward, his tone carrying a subtle hint of concern. "You look terrible." I looked at him, suddenly feeling overwhelmingly exhausted. This man ruined my wedding, and now he's here with that woman, appearing at the place where I'd just lost my child. "None of your business," I said coldly, bypassing him and trying to leave. "Ava," Ethan stopped me. "Let's talk." "There's nothing to talk about. I know I wronged you." Ethan's voice carried a hint of regret. "That day at the wedding, I was impulsive. These past 2 months, I've thought a lot, and I realized." "You realized you still love me?" I interrupted him, a mocking smile curling at the corner of my mouth. "Ethan Cole, put away your cheap regrets. I don't need them." Seeing this, Scarlett immediately stepped forward, proudly rubbing her belly. "Sister Ava, Ethan and I are going to have a baby soon. Let's just let the past be the past," she said hypocritically. "You should find a good person too and start a new life." Looking at her smug expression, a surge of anger suddenly welled up in my heart. I deliberately covered my lower abdomen, showing a faint, weak smile. "Is that so? Congratulations then." I looked at them, speaking each word deliberately. "But what a coincidence. I think I'm pregnant too. Looks like our children can keep each other company in the future." Ethan and Scarlett's faces instantly turned very unpleasant, especially Ethan, who looked at me in shock, then at Scarlett, his eyes filled with doubt and confusion. Seeing their awkward expressions, a sick sense of satisfaction rose within me. I ignored them and walked straight out of the hospital. When I got home, Noah still hadn't returned. I began to pack my things. Actually, there wasn't much to pack. In this house, there were very few things that truly belonged to me. In the evening, Noah came back holding a gift box. "Sorry, babe, work at the company held me up." He looked a bit tired but still forced a smile. "Happy anniversary." He handed me the gift, a diamond necklace of considerable value. I didn't take it. The smile on Noah's face stiffened for a moment. "What's wrong?" At that moment, his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, furrowed his brow slightly, and walked aside to answer. It was Scarlett again. I heard Noah say impatiently, "Didn't I tell you not to call again?" "What? How did you find out?" "She told you?" "All right, I got it. I'll be there right away." He hung up the phone and walked over with a very grim expression. "Ava, did you go to the hospital today?" he asked cautiously. "Yes," Scarlett said. "You're pregnant?" His gaze was sharp, as if trying to see right through me. I smiled. I lied to her. I just don't like her. Noah seemed to relax, but the suspicion in his eyes didn't completely disappear. There are still some things to handle at the company. I have to go again. He started lying once more. Go, I said calmly, watching Noah's hurried retreating figure. I knew he was going to find Scarlett. So be it. I took out the divorce agreement I had prepared long ago and signed my name. Beside it lay the certificate of the abortion procedure. I walked into the living room and looked at the huge wedding photo on the wall. In the photo, I was smiling radiantly, leaning against Noah, looking so happy. Now, it all just feels incredibly ironic. I picked up the ashtray on the table and smashed it down hard. The sound of glass shattering was crisp and resolute. I dragged my suitcase and left this prison that had confined me for nearly a year without looking back. It was raining outside, so I called a car and headed straight to the airport. Next stop, Seaview City, a place where no one knows me. Male perspective and subsequent events interspersed within the scenes after Ava leaves. When Noah arrived at Scarlett's place, he felt restless and uneasy. The moment Scarlett saw him, she threw herself into his arms, crying and confiding in him. Noah, Ava has gone too far. She actually cursed the child Ethan and I are expecting. Noah comforted her perfunctorily, but in his heart, he wondered if Ava's claim that I was lying about being pregnant was true or not. As Scarlett cried, she suddenly said, Noah, the child in my belly, is actually yours. Noah was stunned. That night, Scarlett deliberately got him drunk, and the two of them ended up having a hazy encounter. Later, Noah regretted it deeply and gave Scarlett a large sum of money to keep her quiet. Unexpectedly, looking at Scarlett's tear-streaked face, Noah felt a complex mix of emotions. Perhaps it was guilt towards Ava, or perhaps the effect of the alcohol, but in the end, he did not push Scarlett away. All of this was captured by a hidden surveillance camera, and the one who installed the camera was Ethan Cole. Since abandoning Ava at the wedding, Ethan did not find the happiness he had imagined. His relationship with Scarlett was filled with conflicts and quarrels. Scarlett's possessiveness and neurosis left him increasingly exhausted. He began to frequently recall Ava's kindness, her endurance, her sacrifices, and the cold, desperate look in her eyes the last time she saw him. Regret gnawed at his heart like a venomous snake. When he learned that Ava was pregnant, he became even more upset. He sent someone to investigate and quickly found out that Noah had given Ava contraceptive pills, as well as the ambiguous relationship between Noah and Scarlett. He sent Ava the video of Noah and Scarlett having an affair. Back to Ava's perspective, when Noah returned home, it was already late at night. Waiting for him was an empty house, a shattered wedding photo, and on the table, a signed divorce agreement and a glaring miscarriage certificate. He picked up the thin piece of paper, his hands trembling violently. Miscarriage? Ava aborted the child? When did she find out? A huge wave of panic and regret instantly overwhelmed him. He frantically called Ava, but her phone was off. He rushed out of the house and began searching all over the world for Ava. He used all his connections and resources, only to find that Ava had vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, Ethan was also looking for Ava. He wanted to confess to her in person, to tell her the true nature of Noah and Scarlett, and to beg her for another chance. A few months later, Seaview City. I rented a small shop by the sea and opened a little flower shop. Every day, tending flowers and plants, life was peaceful and serene. I hired a girl named Luna as a shop assistant. She was lively and cheerful, like a little sun. I thought I could just completely forget the past like this, until that day, when two unexpected guests shattered this peace. Ethan Cole and Noah Vance. Both somehow found their way here at the same time. They were both thinner, much more haggard, their eyes filled with bloodshot veins and urgency. Ava. Ethan was the first to speak, his voice hoarse. I've finally found you. Noah quickly stepped forward as well. Ava, come home with me, okay? I know I was wrong. I'll make it up to you. I'll give you all of Vance Corp. I looked at them, expressionless. What are you here for? Ava, I've already broken up with Scarlett. Ethan said urgently. She lied to me. The child isn't even. I know. I interrupted him calmly, shaking my phone, which showed the video he had sent me. You sent it to me. I saw it. Ethan was stunned. Noah's face turned pale. Ava, let me explain. Scarlett and I just. Noah tried to defend himself. No need to explain. I looked at Noah. I also know that the child in Scarlett's belly isn't yours. She's recently gotten involved with a new wealthy businessman. hasn't she? Noah was completely speechless. I had Luna help me investigate. Since they won't let me have peace, I don't mind letting them know that I know all their shameful secrets. Your love is too cheap, and too disgusting. I looked at them, word by word, crystal clear. Ava Miller, am not interested. Ava. Both of them wanted to say something more. Get lost. Luna suddenly rushed out, holding a broom. Don't come bother Sister Ava, or I'll call the police. Watching the two men who were once so high and mighty being embarrassingly driven out of the flower shop by Luna, I felt no satisfaction, only complete weariness. I thought things had ended there, but I underestimated the madness of human nature. To completely settle it, I went back to Capital City to handle the divorce procedures. On the night I finished the procedures and was about to leave, I was kidnapped. The person who kidnapped me was Scarlet Reed. She looked mentally unstable, her eyes filled with crazed red veins. She took me to an abandoned warehouse. It's all your fault. You destroyed everything for me. She shouted hysterically at me. Ethan doesn't want me anymore. Noah doesn't want me either. Even that old man ran away. It's all because of you. She took out her phone and called Ethan and Noah separately, telling them to come here, or she would kill me. Then, she began pouring gasoline into the warehouse. The strong smell of gasoline spread, making me cough harshly. I want you all to die with me, Scarlet sneered, holding a lighter in her hand. I looked at her crazed expression, with only one thought in my mind: I cannot die here. Ethan and Noah arrived almost at the same time. Seeing the scene inside the warehouse, both of their faces changed drastically. Scarlet, calm down. Let Ava go, Ethan shouted. Let her go? On what grounds? Scarlet's emotions grew even more intense. Don't you all love her? Then die together. She made a move as if to light the lighter. At this critical moment, I mustered all my strength, broke free from the ropes binding my wrists. I had been secretly rubbing them earlier when I was tied up. Suddenly shoved Scarlet aside, and dashed toward the warehouse door. Bang! A massive explosion erupted behind me, and the heat wave threw me to the ground. I looked back and saw the entire warehouse engulfed in flames. In the firelight, I seemed to see Scarlet's distorted face, and Ethan and Noah rushing towards me. I don't remember what happened after that. When I woke up again, I was already in the hospital. Luna was by the bedside, her eyes red and swollen. She told me that the warehouse exploded, and Scarlet died on the spot. Ethan and Noah were both severely burned and sent to the intensive care unit. Noah was severely injured and passed away shortly after. His lawyer contacted me and said that Noah had revised his will at the last moment, leaving Vance Corp and all his assets to me. I refused, but the lawyer said the paperwork was already completed and could not be changed. Ethan suffered extensive burns all over his body. Although he survived, he will spend the rest of his life bedridden. Coal industries consequently fell into a huge crisis. I took care of everything, including anonymously donating most of Noah's inheritance, leaving only a small portion to ensure a worry-free future for Luna and myself. Then, I returned to Seaview City. The flower shop was still open, and the sunlight was just right. Luna saw me come back and gave me a big hug. Sister Ava, welcome home. I smiled, looked out at the blue sea, and took a deep breath. It was all over. My new life, the one that belongs to me, is just beginning.